Good afternoon. I'm Johansson, the homicide lieutenant with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. I'm here to brief you on a homicide investigation that we're currently conducting at the 7500 block of Placid. That is the street I'm on right now, and the incident occurred directly behind me where the road dips into a wash area. Late last night at approximately 3:46 a.m., officers from the Enterprise Air Command were dispatched to a report of a shooting. Multiple residents in the area called in stating that there were a bunch of gunshots that they heard in the area, and officers were en route to this location. As officers arrived here in the area, they observed a male near a white pickup, and then shortly thereafter is when officers were shot at. Following this incident, the suspect then fled to the area of Durango and Pebble Road where our OYS occurred. This incident is directly tied to that incident. This is the first incident that precipitated all the prior events that we were briefed on earlier prior to our OIS. What we know, our homicide detectives are currently on scene, and what we know at this time is that the suspect was our suspect who was in the wash, who is our shooter. That late last night he was at his family's residence, which is in this area, and he knows this area very well. That when those gunshots went off, his mother and father drove over here looking for their son, and upon entering the son, they drove to the area of the wash, where they then entered the wash looking for their son, during which the son shot at them and struck the mother. After that is when the incident happened where he shot at officers, and then he fled. As officers came in and cleared the wash afterwards is when they found his mother deceased in the wash right now. So currently we're on scene still piecing together what all happened and why it happened, what was the altercation about. We don't know those things right now, and those are all the questions that we're finding out about. But what we do know is that this was not a random act right happened here. There is a direct family connection to that, and we're now trying to find out, again, what precipitated as to why, which is the question we don't have right now. My investigators will be out here for the next few hours as we continue to process this scene, as we continue to move forward in our investigation and identify the motive behind why this occurred and then led up to the attacks that occurred shortly after this. I'm going to limit my questioning on this to this homicide scene and this homicide scene only. I'm not going to address any aspects of the investigation that took place after this scene. So I just want to limit any questions. I'm going to take questions, but I want them to be limited of what I'm going to answer to that. With that, I'll answer any additional questions.
So the home where the suspect was originally, was that his mother and father's house, or was that his family home, and does he have a wife or anything like that?
From my understanding, his mother and father's house, and it's the house that he grew up in.
When did Metro become aware of the homicide in relation to anything?
So this would be shortly after the suspect fled from this area, when officers then went and started going through the crime scene, is when they found out about this scene. The male that they contacted on scene was the father, so the father was able to quickly provide us information that his wife was inside the wash.
For clarification, he did not shoot at officers at this location.
That we're still determining that point right now. What we know is that when officers arrived, they heard numerous gunshots from the desert area when they arrived on scene.
Do you have the approximate age of the suspect and the mother?
It's a male in his 30s is the suspect, and the mother is a female in her 50s.
And she did die?
She is deceased here on scene, yes.
And his parents came here after also hearing gunshots beforehand as well.
That is what our investigation is right now, and yes. They heard gunshots, then they came to this location.
Why did he leave the house? Why did he leave his parents' house and go to the wash?
That is a question that we are ourselves trying to answer right now. So that is where the rest of our investigation, what is the motive, what precipitated him leaving the house and coming to this wash area? We have a lot of those same questions, and that is where our investigation is directing towards finding out right now.
According to the information, he stole a police cruiser and then went off down Durango. Now, was that the one that was shot at? We saw several police cruisers with vehicles.
Yeah. I'm going to handle, again, what happened here on this scene and limit it to what happened on this scene here.
A year ago today, there was also another incident here at this wash. Very same thing basically happened. Does that have anything to do with
So the answer you're talking about, I know just to clear up The answer to that is no. On that case, there was a murder, you're right, directly behind me, closer to this intersection. Suspects were arrested in that case, and that was a sale of a car that went bad, where the owner was shot, and the owner lived at one of the houses behind me. That case has been solved. This case has nothing to do with the prior case that happened last December. You're right, it's almost about exactly a year ago.
It is, and I was freaked out by that. So
Yeah,
thank you.
2 murders within a year, same location. I know neighbors I've been speaking with are now concerned that this is becoming a yearly trend. Is Metro trying to increase enforcement here, or do something with the wash over here, or the street?
Well, I think you always have to look at the circumstances of each individual incident that takes place. So the incident that took place last year, the victim in that incident actually was meeting with people who were going to he was going to buy a car from over here. So the people were directed to this area. So I don't think it had anything to do with the neighbor other than the victim lived here and was going to do a sale of a car here. This one, I don't have enough information to say if there's any concerns other than what we already have right now. What we know is that the person who did the shooting is deceased, that he is accounted for, and that the attack was on a family member of his, and it was not a random act.
How far into the wash did he shoot his mother?
Our scene just extends into the wash. We're still actually going through and clearing the rest of the wash to see what else is in there, but I would say within the first 50 feet of the wash. As you go, the wash runs from east to west, so it's on the east side of the road.
Any idea where he got this weapon?
That will all be part of our investigation. What you're referring to is like a trace investigation, where you determine how the gun was purchased, how it got into the hands of somebody. So yes, that will be part of our investigation as we move forward. Go ahead.
How he take the car from the police? Because he take the car from police, right? How he make that? How he do that?
Again, as I explained, I'm going to talk about this specific scene. I'm not going to talk about anything that happened after our homicide scene. A homicide occurred here on scene.
So I just want a clarification. At the parents' house, left the parents' house, was in a white pickup truck?
No, so the father and mother,
Okay.
if you remember, I said the father and mother were in their house, heard the shooting. They then drove here in a white pickup truck. And they found their son in the wash. They then went into the wash, and then that's when the shooting occurred.
Do you know if their son drove a car here, or did he walk here?
It does not appear there's any other cars here on scene.
What car did he take from this scene?
I'll cover that. I'll let that all come post here. Again, I'm going to cover to the homicide.
Right.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate your time.